one by one they will introduce themselves and tell us what they're doing and why they know what they do, and from there we start asking the right questions. Spotty, can you start?
What's up, everybody? My name is Spotty Wi-Fi. I am the best and only crypto-punk rapper alive. Emphasis on the only crypto-punk rapper alive. And so I make rap music, and I've been using Web3 and NFTs to build a community and connect with my supporters and use my tokens, my NFTs, to unlock merchandise, unreleased music, early access to music videos, concerts, tickets, events, etc., etc. And this year I'm very active in the metaverse, specifically Decentraland, throwing parties and launching my own music venue called Spotty.
Why did you choose Decentraland?
Man, I've been asking myself that question every day for the last 5 months, to be honest with you. I chose Decentraland because it is relatively decentralized compared to a lot of the other metaverses that has its pros and its cons. And they are very active in music. They've thrown music festivals in the past with big artists, and I've been fortunate to perform at those music festivals, so they have a built-in music audience, music crowd.
Okay, so you did it because you wanted to be the neighbor of Snoop Dogg in some sort of plan.
No, he's with Sandbox, actually.
I know.
I'm trying to recruit him over.
That's why I'm asking. Thank you so much for coming back to me. Please, Legend, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Post. I'm at Legend on Twitter. If you guys can take pictures of us and just tag Legend, please, so people in America know that we're doing better than they are. I'm a founder and a man with a computer, and I work on the Web2 side of music publishing and distribution, YouTube. I also do IP stuff for TikTok influencers, things like that. And
don't say it this way, because we just to give you some information. We just had a very hot lunch.
yeah.
Very hot lunch. And we were talking about what you told me about what you do with IP rights and how you see NFTs actually helping with that. Can you just elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, so I didn't want to be on record saying these things, but here we are.
Record that, please, guys. He said, I didn't want to be on record.
I feel like it's going to be tough. So at first, NFTs really gave people, individual creators, this huge. It kind of in the same way that TikTok gives you organic reach. In the beginning of NFTs, for instance, Spotty, right, got a lot of organic reach, and it's I feel like as time goes on, and Sony and UMG, Universal Music Group, and all these super mega players get into the game, they're kind of just going to vacuum everything up in the same way they vacuum things up now. So it's good to get in, it's good to learn, and at least know what the text is, how to apply yourself to it.
We're going to come back very soon about the emerging artists and what we call organic, because when people talk about organic reach, it feels like it happens because you're lucky, not because you work hard. To do this, what we have to tell us a little bit more about that. Please, Tom, can you introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and where you're here.
Yeah, hi everybody, I'm Tom. I'm one of the co-founders or CEO of Tracks. So we're a new music platform building on ICP, which is one of the ecosystems that's being represented here. The point of Tracks really is to build an artist-centric platform. So rather than relying on digital streaming providers, distribution levels, giving all of the utility and the tooling to the artists and allow them to monetize directly from their closest fans. So yeah.
Great, thank you so much. How are you?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very proud to be here in so exciting environment.
Where are you from?
I'm Italian.
Italian?
I'm Italian.
Nobody's perfect.
So, I'm a musician.
Thank you.
And a blockchain developer. So, what is the joint to different things? Is the freedom. What I understood is that play music, like jazz music, you can be free, no? You can put out your creativity, but also writing code and programming language. I mean, solidity in a smart contract is the same thing, is writing the freedom, the liberty, no? So I put together, this is my passion, that is the music, improvisation, like jazz, and also another genre. And also, I put together the programming language and what is the sound of the tool, the NFT. So I am a musician, with my team, we are all musicians, but we also expert in blockchain, and add together other musicians to be free, to be independent from
Labels, the big labels?
Sorry?
From the big labels?
Exactly, to be independent, not only in general from the monopolistic entities. So what we do is to create a smart contract tailor-made, I can say, based on the request of the musician. Why? Because at the end, we have to save a royalty, 100% of royalty, not just 10%, 50%. So this is just, we empower the luxury of the creativity, of the autonomy of the musician. This is my...
So, but you have a platform created for that?
Well, exactly. We don't have a platform. We create a website, a dedicated, customized website for each musician that they put the personal marketplace in their web page.
So you're actually creating a tool.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. But it's customized, so a tool is different from the other. So it's just a really tailor-made, ad hoc bidding. Okay.
Thank you so much. So you know, how is it with the tech? Maybe he's good.
What's up, y'all? How's everyone feeling out there today?
Doing good, thanks for asking.
Make some noise if you're live right now. Come on.
Woo!
That's right. My name is Guido Corleone, aka Chris Desich. I'm an MC, crypto artist. Been rapping, playing music for 20, 30 years. And done some things in the crypto art space. Wrote the first song ever about the Bored Ape Yacht Club in May of 21. Wrote some cool crypto anthems like Fucking Gas Fee and Don't Click Any Motherfucking Links, which you might hear playing throughout.
Would you say it was a good song? It was just an opportunistic song. That's a real question.
Which one?
The Bored Ape one that you was I listened to it.
Is it opportunistic? I mean,
I think it's a good thing to be opportunistic.
I think it's a good message, you know, because every day we just see somebody's wallet getting drained, and shout out to, you know, there's some really cool products that are being designed like Wallet Guard and Warm and Delegate, you know, where things like that are less common, but you know, I'm really interested in how we can reclaim our power as artists, especially as musicians in the space.
So I'm asking for the only reason that because of the money problem, when I say the money problem, it's because we can go on the subject about NFTs and what we can do with them, which in my opinion didn't kill the space, but broke it in two and gave us the opportunity right now to rebuild the market. You see a lot of people saying they are artists, but we don't know what they did before and why they are artists and why they love what they're doing. Right. So I think there is a place for those who see an opportunity, and it's amazing. That's why this place is fantastic. But some artists that went to NFTs, they went to NFTs only because it was the logical next step for them in a world saturated of opportunities, but they were doing that before NFTs. I have a friend who's a tagger. He's been doing that for 20 years. He's in Astana. Actually, Astana is the one who's doing like the tags on the walls in New York City. This guy knows Banksy, he knows all of them. So when he went to blockchain, it was not out of opportunity, but as a logical next step to create revenue. And I do believe it's your case. I know it's your case. It's funny. So it's good to rebrand the market and say we are artists before NFTs, you know.
Totally.
It's just like the logical next step.
Yeah, I mean, y'all probably heard the figures of like what artists get off of Spotify stream is shaving your opinion, essentially. So being able to take control of your own destiny, essentially, determine the price, connect directly with collectors, with fans. This is total revolution. I mean, this is something we were already doing, like you said, as independent artists, but I mean, it's just taking it to the next level. And you know, our whole lives, in my whole life, I've just seen the value of music in the public eye just been depleted. Not to mention the quality from vinyl to MP3 free streaming, but to restore value to crypto art and music through this movement, it's fucking awesome.
When you see the rise of torrent, when we used to emu.
Torrents? Yeah,
Allegedly.
Legendary.
Or even emu, just started. The big industry like Sony, etc., they were saying we're not protecting the artists anymore, but that was a first time, actually, because if you want to protect the artist, you want the song to be all over the place, not the way. So I think the norm is to come back to what's real. The artist is the one creating the music. How can we empower him? There is still an industry behind that. How can we find the right fit? And maybe this is where Mark, you can tell us a little bit about how you see the legal, if you can bring in the mic.
We definitely don't need the labels. I mean, traditionally, what they have done.
Because that's the position of contradiction. We like to say it's either black or white.
Sure.
And if you want to go from black to white or white to black, you need all the shades of the rainbow. So you need all the small things. Maybe we don't need label in the future, but still we need to find a way to work with them because they have everything at hand. So how WEB3 can help them empower or change their own narrative, and maybe then we can start building our own platforms that will make us free from them. But these are steps.
The people have the power, the artists have the power, there's a time and place for labels, but I think also part of the power of blockchain technology is that major corporate entrenchment of labels who have been traditionally predatory and extracted haven't been able to entrench their claws into this thing, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and this is where our role is important, so that we can share with them knowledge that they can use for empowering their own industry and change the way it is. The only constant in the universe is change. This is not from me, this is from a friend of mine called Albert.
I love that.
Mark, can you please tell us a little bit about what you do and how relevant you are to be seated, considering all the other shit?
No, I appreciate it. Mark Costello, I'm a crypto lawyer, I'm a corporate crypto tax attorney.
Ooh!
It's a good thing, I'm here to help at the end of the day. I help artists create contracts, fight for contracts, fight for their rights, and everything on the blockchain itself related to whether they're being kicked out of a project or being rid of their royalties or preventing being paid for the work that they've actually done. So what we've actually done to be able to help them to fight that, whether it's we filing lawsuits and serving everybody on the blockchain itself by lazy minting them on OS and just sending everything to their actual wallet itself, showing that they're serving and doing work on that. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, thank you so much for the introduction.
Is it true that you have a Web3 based law firm where you have like NFTs or something for like?
And is it true?
Yeah, what is that about?
That's very true. Yeah, a Web3 based law firm called Non-Fungible Advisors LLC. We all have NFTs. We're all we have a couple of apes, Rubies, and everything else. We're just here in Web3, and we know about it. We trade shit coins, we buy NFTs, we get rugged, everything. We've done it all.
What do you mean? So now that we have a picture of the present, okay? We didn't give you a picture of the past that we have been boring with. So now that we have a picture of the present, let's try to position ourselves in the near future. Okay, let's say 5 years from now. Okay, and I'll go to you, Spotty. What would have happened 5 years from now for artists like you who want to have a better outreach using Web3 as an opportunity? Nothing from this is prepared, okay? We have no idea what are the questions that I'm going to be asking. This is why I want to be very, very truthful to you. So take your time and listen.
Okay, so 5 years from now, just a few predictions. I will say tickets to all live events from Live Nation, Ticketmaster, they'll be on the blockchain whether we know it or not. So they'll be able to reward you if you're a loyal customer of Live Nation or Ticketmaster. They'll be able to airdrop you exclusive content from the football game you went to or the concert that you went to. Maybe the artist will even be able, the artist hopefully will be able to pull the address and see what wallets attended different events and be able to reach those wallets as well. And I would say we're going to see a lot more Web2 companies embrace embracing Web3. We already have, I mean, Live Nation is already allowing NFT holders of the band Avenged Sevenfold to get early access to tickets to live events, so we're already on the path there. Spotify is already doing token-gated playlists with a band. They did it with a group called Kingship, which is a Board and Yacht Club music group. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that, where big Web2 dinosaur companies start to dip their toe into Web3, and I think hopefully it's going to empower the artists. And what's going to be powerful is we're familiar with the idea of loyalty and rewards, right? If I shop with Live Nation a bunch, maybe I get a coupon or something cool, right? Maybe. If I shop, if I spend money on Spotify, maybe I get some reward or some early access something. But what we're not used to is being loyal to an artist and then being able to receive rewards on different platforms that are usually a gated, you know.
Would you say that this platform needs to be connected to each other for a better?
No, I think that's the beauty of it. Is if you hold a Spotify Wi-Fi NFT and you can get early access to music on Spotify, you know, early access to music videos on YouTube, early access to tickets at Live Nation. I think to me that we don't really need Live Nation, YouTube, and Spotify to be coordinating all of that together. We just need them individually to embrace the technology.
So this is actually not a threat for these platforms. Whether they feel threatened by the possibility of not being the intermediary anymore, and this is maybe where I can ask you as legend trying to protect some artists with their own IP. How would you see the movement going? Let's say, for example, for YouTube, where you spend a lot of your time.
Yes, it'd be really interesting. First of all, thank you for the very astute question, Nazar. You're doing an amazing job moderating.
Yeah,
right? Did anybody get clapped for Nazar? Boy, they did.
I'm expensive.
Now, it's going to be interesting, because the way it works right now is like, so if a song plays in video, you know, usually it's 7 seconds globally is like the rule of thumb, so like few views, which is kind of funny with what happened in like the Drake, if you guys watched that podcast with Bobby. Anyway, you like the way he used the music, he knew he was playing a piece of music in this interview and ended up like using that as leverage to make it like a takedown from UMG. It's crazy, but so right now the rule of thumb is like 7 seconds. Usually is what it takes for
the AI to recognize.
Yeah, the AI will recognize your song.
That's why, for example, on your Instagram, if you upload your own song, let's say to a picture that is not there, if you go less than 7 seconds, then it will not recognize the song. If you go more than 7 seconds, it will recognize that you don't have the rights for this song.
Yeah, and so you know that really helps artists get paid, right? Is when it goes past. Anyway, so what would be interesting is like if the composer, because if there's different royalties. There's like 7 different royalties in any song, right? So it's like to have all of that like on the blockchain, right, in an NFT, so that it gets like money goes into an account and there's a disbursement, whatever we want to use, to send out the money. So it's like, and then if you sell a piece of your share or something, that will reflect in the NFT. So that would be very interesting, I think, and probably the best use case for this technology in music.
So you're talking about financial empowerment of artists, right?
Yeah, get rid of all these fat, bloated leeches in the middle. It's all in these predatory music industry, and not just music, entertainment, period.
Don't you believe that they can, from my standpoint, okay, I'm going to show you something. I do believe all the responsibility comes to the consumer. If you're not able to state exactly what you want, the brands are never going to change. But I do believe the brand has its own purpose, just surviving, let's say as a primary purpose. They will follow us if we understand the technology that we have at hand and we say, that's the way I want to experience music. I want to experience music in a way that is different, where I own maybe just the first part. And let's say, for example, Niggas in Paris, I love this song, but the end of the song, I hate it. So maybe I want to own just the part of it. I'm sorry, Snoop, I'm sorry, Jay-Z, Super Canon, but part of it that I don't like, so maybe I want to experience music differently. And maybe this is, I'm going to jump back to the tracks because I don't go like live here, but maybe this is the moment I can ask you, Dario, how technologically do you see that we can actually change the way we are interacting with a 5-minute song, let's say, or a 8-minute Freddie Mercury song? It's very long sometimes. And it's good. You just have to be louder.
I think that we are at the beginning of this new technology. So we need to change the mindset. Mindset not for us, but mindset in general for musicians that are proposing their new products, and the mindset of people that starting to use the new technology. Because my experience is that really few people knows about WEB3. But exactly as I said, we are at the beginning. So,
This is not the case. If you start with something, nobody knows.
yeah, exactly. So it's important also. I mean, the training, for example, the training that could start from the musician, why not? Or the label exists, the label. But the people need to understand. Also, the musician needs to understand what is its business. If a musician is at the beginning of his career, can decide to put the NFT on Wix, any other major platform. But I don't know, if he's at top level, he can decide to create his personal for the marketplace. Why not? What is the better? I don't know. It depends. Every musician needs to know knowledge, needs knowledge about yourself.
And this is education, basically.
Exactly.
Self-education and market education. I fully agree with you, which leads me actually to the question I would like to ask you. Tom, tracks actually is with the rise of AI and with the multiple possibilities that it gives to artists, but the multiple possibilities that it takes from artists as well, because then artists have to come back to fight another type of fight, which is contemplating their own voice or their own song. How do you position yourself in this? Because Web3, once again, it's not only NFTs and blockchain, it's AI and every use of it. Web3 is on the internet under adrenaline, actually, and another type of experience. So in Web3, we also can and will have to talk about AI. So what is your position in this regard?
Personally, I don't like AI. Music. I think music is an innately human art form. So if you're taking away control of creation, sort of, licensing off the vocals to an AI, which then can be used to create, God knows whatever. I don't know if that's a direction I want to see the music industry go at the moment. I think there are enough problems that need to be solved elsewhere before we look at how can AI be used. It's a useful tool, I think, for creators, to speed up processes, for mixing, mastering, whatever. There's definitely use cases for it. But whether we're just going to devolve to listening to AI-produced tracks by artists, but they're not actually, involved in the creation anymore.
That's when you know it is created by AI. That's when you know it is created by AI. But like 10 years from now, you won't be able to make the difference between AI and not AI. So how's your relationship in this moment? This is the most important thing, is how do you feel about AI 10 years from now? Dangerous? Good?
Potentially dangerous, I think. Like I said, I think it has its uses. I think it can be used as a tool, and if it's used as a tool, it doesn't interrupt the sort of human element of music. That's important. I just think there's other ways that we can be improving the music industry that don't necessarily leverage AI to replace artists, because that's what AI is being touted for in other industries, right? We can reduce the workforce needed to produce whatever we want to do. So if that carries over to music, we're going to end up with less artists and more AI created songs. I just don't personally think it's...
I'm really interested, thank you so much. I'm really interested in knowing what you think about that as an artist. You about AI. I do believe we have a different answer. But that's just a feeling. Otherwise, it's going to be boring if you have the same answer.
Well, I think I've seen one too many James Cameron movies, actually, to have a really positive outlook on AI, personally. It's here. Pandora's box has been opened, and of thinking about what you were saying about 5 years too. The people have the power. I mean, we are human beings and we have to remember that, especially as we move through Web3. We're constantly spending time on screens. We're constantly spending time immersed in this technological energy. So remember what it means to be a human being. Remember that we're made up of the minerals, the elements, the metals of Mother Earth. And so AI does have a place, it's here, but I kind of think the box has been opened. And as far as where we're going, we have the power.
You feel AI is unreal?
Is it what?
You feel AI is unreal?
Is it unreal?
Yeah, because you are putting all the real things that make us unreal, you know?
I mean, it's a form of technology. It could very well be an extension of our consciousness. I'm concerned about where the information is being funneled into and what, you know, who's controlling it. And yeah, if this is what it is now, what's it going to be in 10 years? You know, as far as the industry and NFTs, crypto art, I think crypto art is going to thrive. I think it's going to continue to grow. There's screens everywhere. Just be mindful. Look at how many screens are around you in your average day. That's an opportunity to present crypto art. To quote Tom York from Radiohead, the future is inside us. It's not somewhere else. So what are you supporting? Who are you supporting? What are you choosing to participate in? What are you empowering? What are you emboldening? I hope it's artists, putting it out there that it's artists, and I think that if we continue, because Web3 presents such a beautiful opportunity just from people to people, peer to peer, you know? You don't need a specific platform. You don't need to operate on a specific chain. You could just go direct. So if you're a musician in the crypto art space and you have 500 collectors, you can have a very prosperous career. And that can exist outside of the traditional music industry. Or maybe there's a place for them, but I think it's a beautiful time to be an artist. And
so you
it's up to all of you.
So you actually, from what I understand, you see Web3 only as tools to enhance either our experience or the way we want to be experienced. And on that matter, I'd say the first person who invented fire might have had as a purpose to build houses or forests. But it depends on what you do with the tools. So maybe AI could be a great thing if we use it differently as a community.
And then Oppenheimer created the atomic bomb, you know?
Depends what you do.
But, you know, fire is a part of Mother Earth too. It's a part, it's an elemental thing. So, as far as AI, the journey's still out for me, but it feels like it has the potential to go in a really, really wild direction, you know?
Maybe that's how it's funny. Talking about the wild, what about the way you see protecting artists in regards of the IP rights and the way their name, likeness, and identity is used in the near future? If it's smart asking these kind of questions.
Just in general, or are you asking in general, or
how do you feel about not in general, because in general it's something that they can find on the internet. They have the chance to have you, so tell us how you feel.
I feel that the rights will be protected, however, that's also up to the actual artist itself. Like, you have to be able to protect yourself with your IP and everything out there. If you're singing a song or creating art or doing anything like that, somebody else has used it, and you just ignore that and continue moving forward, then your rights won't be protected and you won't get the royalties from that itself. We were talking about AI, and there's been issues where you have an AI protocol using, let's say, Drake's voice to create a whole new song that he's never sang. That to me is a huge issue because of the fact that you're using their likeness basically for your own use without their approval or license to do that. And to be honest, in the future, I really see what will happen is an artist will come in and their voice gets used inappropriately in a way that they're not accepting of, and they can sue that protocol and go after them for using their likeness inappropriately without a license. So what might happen in the future is with AI, before you're able to use that protocol, you can show that you have the authorization to use this voice or this likeness in the art that you created or use that you created in the first place, which could be an issue because of the fact that there's not really anything out there like that right now. Or maybe you're signing your contract, you're basically signing away your voice itself, but that creates other issues because of the fact that, again, you're using your likeness in a way that you never approved, something that you never wanted to do in the first place, and that really hinders your rights and the royalties or monies that you should be able to make based on your art, which is your voice, which is potentially like your proprietary information or even more product that you've created over your years of practice and what you're doing. And now they're able to just grab an AI protocol, use your voice or your art to create something that you never approved of. I can definitely see a lot of issues with that.
I do believe if I had asked you to answer in general, it would have been very much less interesting than what you just had. So thank you so much for that. Usually what I do when there is this kind of panels, I ask the public for questions and who wants to interact with us. I need just to be sure that we're not eating at the time of the next panel, and we can do that. Otherwise, I'll ask the guests just to give us where we can meet them later on to have discussion with them. Ryan, Mom is calling. Do we have the time to ask people if they have questions or?
Yeah, I had more time. I'll do it because the time was.
Time is up.
No, we're good. Keep going.
We have it.
You got that.
Can we take like 2 or 3
You're
minutes?
Whoever was next as a speaker, you can just relax a little bit, enjoy your speaking.
If you have a question, just raise your hand. Okay, amazing. Come on. That's what she said. Please introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Enrique. Working with my friends to build NFT Fest. You mentioned that you don't like limited, none of you. My question is, what do we have to do extra from what we have already in music NFTs to create a sustainable infrastructure for you to thrive?
Anyone feeling comfortable answering, please take the mic and move it.
A sustainable infrastructure for us to strive, something we have to do different than what the norm is now. In terms of AI, is that what?
Yeah, in terms of build.
In terms of building overall in Web3, which includes you as producer and us as supporting you.
Makes sense.
The last question was, does it make sense? My answer is no, but we will try to answer.
What was the very first part of the question? It was, you said,
So
it's hard to hear, sorry.
yeah, the big streamers in the industry, they provide the infrastructure, a platform for the artist to go to and connect with the consumer. If you don't want them in the game anymore, how are we going to build that vehicle to connect you?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I just took a trip to South Dakota before this trip, and I was in the car for 2 weeks. And I was listening to Spotify, and they have a really impressive interface, you know what I mean, for people to listen. As far as what you all can do, is that if you have an artist that you like, that you love, that you want to support, I would say reach out to them directly. And I mean, we're all on Twitter here, I think. And I'm very accessible. I think everyone on the stage is very accessible. Reach out to them directly and figure out how can I support you? How can I access your art? How can I listen to your music? I think that's the best way. And that's what Web3 is about, is people-to-people and peer-to-peer connection, cryptocurrency, you know.
That's exactly what Web3 is about. Web3 is about responsibility, actually. We're shifting from a society where paternalistic society where you have the police, school, government taking care of you. Even what you consume as content feels like you're not choosing because there's no problem behind. So it leads you to a place of responsibility, saying I am in action. I am responsible for choosing the artists that I like, not because it's a trend. So you as consumers have to either create the right platform or interact the right way with artists, in my opinion. So that's why I think I personally really relate with your answer.
I love what you're saying about responsibility. It's difficult when you're moving through the technological space and you don't really, it requires a lot of self-awareness. Like we may not be aware that an algorithm is working on us. It's feeding us this thing, putting this thing in front of us. So if you can really dial into your self-awareness and what you're feeding yourself digitally, technologically, I think that's also has to do with that responsibility that you're talking about.
It's a lot about being conscious of what you're doing, not having someone deciding for you. Maybe what we can do here, we can all of us take the mic and one after the other, starting with you, Scotty, saying what you're the most excited about in what you're building. Usually, if you know me and you see me on stage, I never do self-promotion. I never let anyone do self-promotion. But I do believe when it comes to a beautiful subject like that, you want to know what is the thing that excites you that you are building.
So I'll try to frame this in a way that can address your question also, because I think there's a big opportunity for a platform to help streamline a lot of these things that I'm already doing. Because the way I've been able to do some of these things, it's been like patchwork, right? So one thing I'm excited about is like, I have NFT collections where you can go on my Shopify store and you can unlock a free vinyl record. And you can have the vinyl record delivered to you anywhere in the globe. And that's something that I had to set up and pay a developer to build a plugin 2 years ago. It was very expensive. It's much more affordable now to do it. But you know, you have to search it out, and it's not something that is most artists are thinking about right now. I have, you know, my Discord, and a lot of artists have Discords that you have a token-gated channel where you can have private conversations with your collectors, things like that. Ticketing to live events, you know, I've worked with a company called Token Proof on a lot of live events, concerts and things like that, where if you have my NFT and you have the Token Proof app, then you can get into the concert, you know, for free. I've given intellectual property rights with my music NFTs. If you own one of my music NFTs, then you have the right to sing at least part, in some cases, all of the entire song. If you want to put that in your YouTube video, if you want to put that in your podcast, your film, television show, commercial, whatever. But in order to do that, you know, I had to pay a lawyer to draft a dumb contract, you know, because it's just because you have a smart contract doesn't mean that you don't need an older, traditional contract. So these are the types of things that get me excited and that make me think of Web3 and NFTs as a really unique opportunity to connect with my fans. And I think that there's a big opportunity for some platforms to create a one-stop shop. You know, that it would be amazing if on Spotify, if there was a button on my Spotify profile where somebody could just connect their wallet and see, oh, I'm entitled to a free NFT. I'm sorry, a free vinyl record. Or, oh, I'm entitled to remix this song. I can download the stems here instead of having to go into Spotify's Discord. Because right now it's all scattered. You know, unless you go to my website, thank you, SpotifyFi.com, you know, you wouldn't know all of these things. So I think that's the opportunity. I also wanted to say, I think AI is a tool that can be used for good and for bad. I don't think music is a uniquely human thing. I think the universe makes music just like the universe makes fire. The birds are outside singing right now. And I think that people were scared of the phonograph. When it came out, people thought it would dehumanize music. Some people don't like EDM, some people don't like hip-hop because a lot of it is made in computers, but I think that it's just tools that actually empower us.
Amazing. Thank you so much. When it comes to platforms, actually, you were talking about Spotify. Now your experience is exactly like how we experience internet today. We say we surf the web. So you have like a very, like I just said, experience. But with Web3, you surf inside of internet because you get another type of experience. And that I believe is what you were saying, which is not only experiencing the music like that, but getting what I can get from the inside of maybe part of the music or the experience that is related to that. Please, Legend, do your self-promotion.
Yeah, so what Spotty was just saying, when you can give, you know, the IP through an NFT, I think the best use case I see, which was very early in the game too, was when Tom McDonald bought that Eminem NFT that had a track. And so Tom McDonald got to write a track, and it says produced by Eminem, like in parentheses, because he bought the NFT that Eminem actually produced. So it's like that, and that was very early in the game. So I think that was a very nice use of NFTs, because now, even though they don't collaborate musically, as far as I know, they don't even fuck with that has wings.
That's why I love you, and I ask you for doing self-promotion, and you end up giving some kind of value to the previous question. But where can they find you?
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to, he does it better than me, and I just noticed even Spotty was let me frame this, and then answer his question, and then answer all the other questions. This is what I have to deal with up here. Alright, it's not easy. You guys are...
Find him on Twitter, Legend.
Yeah, Matt Legend on Twitter. I have a project called Blue Ducks. There's my dog up there. It's basically just a way to have access to me, and we're building through whatever. I watch, I work on TikTok a lot, so I see a lot of trending things. And I was putting AI stuff in the Discord months ago. Just there was a guy who wrote a book with AI, ended up selling it, made thousands of ridiculous money, and it was through Mid-Journey and ChatGPT, and it took a weekend.
We are early, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So in terms of what we're building, I think we are building that kind of one-stop shop that Sports was just describing. Our goal, vision, mission is artist-centric innovation. It's got a broad term. What that means is, how can we advance Web3? In my opinion, music NFTs is a great first step in the right direction, but there's so much more to come in terms of monetizing directly from your fans, realizing that artists have much more to say, much more to sell than just their music, products, tickets, merchandise, whatever that might be. So they deserve a platform that empowers them, enables them to earn more, and that's really what we're trying to do with Tracks. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Adam.
The experience that I'm very proud to explain is what we did for a song that we produced. The name of this experience is Crypto Music Event. It was a live experience. So we write a smart contract specific for this song with three different royalties, one for each stakeholder of the song, the singer, the arranger, the producer. The three different categories of the NFT, because it's the same song, okay, same song, but three different categories. Basic, intermediate, and premium. Every different categories have different resources, special resources. For example, the basic is the normal song plus some different release. The intermediate categories has not only the release but also the mix, the tracks, the guitar, the bass, the drum, all inside. So the person that purchases the NFT can build his remix, for example. And then the premium NFT give the possibility also to have the unique physical binding. Then there is another interesting thing that people that come to the event have a discount to the NFT. What does it mean? The people come to the event and then there is an application that put their address directly in the white list.
We actually do.
So exactly. It was a successful experience because it's live event, but linked to the
very smart. So how and when or we can interact with what you're building? Or where?
Yeah, exactly.
It
was done in
it's a goal where you make a lot of money. So
yeah, exactly. No, there is this experience was done in a jazz club. People come to the jazz club. Obviously, people knows the crypto world, because our fans, is a club of people that is doing crypto trading and so on. So people that knows, they have the right education to do that. They come to the physical event, and then there's our friend that help us to collect the address and put it inside the contract in the mobile system.
Where do we find you? The best?
I think the best place to hit me up is on Twitter. I'm on there quite a bit. I just dropped an NFT called I Love Her, celebrating 50 years of hip hop culture, music, people. It's direct thing you can get from me. 25% of proceeds are going back to supporting women in the space and buying crypto art from female artists in Web3 space. Working on something called Morning Record Club, combining music, art, crypto art, and vinyl records, and reimagining distribution models in music. And I'm also, I've got an initiative where we're supporting our friends in young people in Palestine. It's called Skatekia, and they have a really beautiful organization. Been devastated by COVID. If you want to learn more, come talk to me. And we're really just trying to get them up and running. It's gonna build up to an NFT project where if there was ever a use case for cryptocurrency, I would say it would be moving it over walls that are dividing people with gun towers and supporting young people who really need the support. So thank you so much. So,
Yeah, sure. You guys can find me at nonfungible.advisors.com. Like I said, I'm a corporate tax attorney to help artists, you know, do your taxes, investment, and national, corporations, and all that good stuff. So if anything helps, let us know.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much, guys, for being here, and thank you for supporting us. Thank you. Thanks so much. See you again.
Bro,